Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Live at the Waterhole. We have started at cat-eye pan with some giraffe and some sebbies that have come down for a bit of an afternoon drink. Looks nice and warm in the Olifants Western Game Reserve. Yeah, nice and sunny. I can't say the same for Joburg. It's sunny but rather cold. My name is Kerry Dupree and I'll be your naturalist host for the afternoon. We are excited to be here today. In our directors team, here in MC, we have Nadine, and on tech we have Simba. So it's a lovely afternoon. Nice weather, although very cold. Highest temperatures in Joburg today, you're looking at 15-16 degrees, and in the mornings it is rather chilly, 4-5 degrees. So don't forget, this is a live and interactive experience. You can send those questions and comments through if you're watching us on the app. You can also watch on the website, register, ask those questions, use the QR code on screen. Let me know how your day is. I have a very warm cappuccino right next to me and my gloves on because it is very cold. I'd love to know what snacks, what beverages you have with you for this afternoon's live at the Waterhole. We've had some very interesting snack combinations coming through sometimes. So we can also send through those comments on WhatsApp. The number is on screen now. So send through those questions, send those comments. Let me know how your week is going and what snacks you have with you for the show this afternoon. I don't have any snacks. I just had munched on some blueberries, and as I mentioned, I've got my cappuccino very close by. So I hope everyone is having a fabulous week. Looks like this female giraffe is quite curiously looking over into the distance. Could be a few giraffe hanging around this watering hole. Nice to see those zebra also out and about and around. So we have some comments coming through. Catherine, hello. I hope it's not too cold over in Germany. Fuzzy Dunlop, happy Tawny Tuesday. Thank you very much for welcoming me back, Fuzzy Dunlop. I'm not too sure if we had any Tawny Tuesday sightings on the morning safaris, but if you had any cats, I know that leopards have been very active over the weekend in Sabi Sands. It'd be nice to know if there was lots of leopard activity. Just getting a bit of an update from Nadine from this morning's sunrise safari. Apparently there was lots of activity in the leopard world between Langa, Chipondo and Tlalamba. Yeah, seems like Sabi Sands has been quite crazy with leopard sightings over this long weekend, and all the activity and commotion from the leopard world also attracted a lion to come and check out to see what was happening with these leopards. So yeah, I don't know if anyone of you watched all the videos. There was also some videos of, I think it was Tortoise Pan, and another female that also had huge interaction and altercations with this intruding male. So yeah, that was Tiani, and so apparently it was Tiani, and the other leopard was, sorry if I'm saying this wrong, Shitsala. I saw all those videos. It was very, very sad to see another leopard life being lost in the Sabi Sands. But again, this is all part of nature, and I guess what happens in the natural world. Tortoise Pan is a very impressive big male leopard. I believe this Tiani was roaming down the road. Some guides saw this male Shitsala come and follow her, and obviously Tortoise Pan was not happy to have a male leopard intruding into his territory. So yeah, lots of activity there. Yeah, very, very sad that young male leopard did not survive, but again, all survival of the fittest, and shows what an impressive and dominant male Tortoise Pan really is in this area. So yeah, lots of leopard activity. I'm going to try and catch up on some of the comments here. So there's some more comments coming from Mindy. Yes, this is a lovely pan today, Mindy. Check, we've got our zebra and giraffe in the same frame. Always lovely to have lots of activity here at Cat Eye Pan. And we also have Penelope Kenyon has sent through her comments saying hello to everyone this afternoon. Greetings to us and all the Live at the Waterhole viewers today. Thank you for sending your regards, Penelope. Karen has also sent through her comments. Hello, Karen, is watching from Australia. Apparently the weather has been crazy there over in Australia, very icy. Very cold weather. I hope you're keeping nice and warm, Karen. Definitely Johannesburg is socks and gloves weather. I don't even remember the last time I wore shorts. It's quite sad. It's good for the skin to get some vitamin D, but yeah, I've been rather cold, I must say. So we've got some more comments from Lorianne. Thank you, Lorianne. I hope you have some nice weather in Mossel Bay, although I believe it is quite chilly at the moment. Deb D, a new member of 2 months, has also sent through her comment. Thank you, Deb. I was away from Live at the Waterhole for a couple of weeks, or about a month, so lovely to be back. This giraffe, male giraffe, is very curious. Sometimes I always wonder about giraffe, what they are so intently staring off at in the distance. Again, a lot of the communication of these giraffe we don't actually understand, but they are communicating with each other. It's kind of like watching paint dry though, sometimes, I must say. Just wonder, like, if you could tap into the little communication line of these giraffe between one individual and the next. I wonder what they'd be speaking of. While these little ox pickers are very intently grooming away, trying to look for their morning snack. I'm very glad that I don't have to eat ticks and feed on parasites from other mammals. There's another comment coming through from Picasso. Hello, Picasso. It is a surprise to see some nice zebras today. Apparently Picasso is saying if you shave a zebra completely down to their bare skin cells or hair follicles. So Picasso, I think maybe you might be asking about the color of zebra. I know a lot of people, there's always a question between, is a zebra black with white stripes or white with black stripes? I think it all depends on, my guess is if you have a look at the underbelly of a zebra, their underskin, a lot of their underbelly and areas that don't actually have much fur looks very black. So to me, most parts of a zebra, if you did shave them, there'd probably be a black underneath their underlying skin. What are these giraffe? So there's a young male that's just taken off, giraffe that's just taken off on the left here. He's been followed by a young female. So quite nice to see the ossicones here. The difference between male and female ossicones.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
My name is Takudzwa Panda Msesani. My scariest moment is when it happened twice. The other time I was with Cedric and the other time I was with Steve. And all those times, it was a black mamba. My favorite meal in camp is gonna be burger and chips.
This is what they call a shambi, a family, a whole herd of elephants.
But nature is beyond amazing. Nature is just everything.
We'd love to hear from you. Questions, comments about biology, Africa, safari.
She's using her tail like a monkey.
How cool is this?
So we're looking here at a zebra's bottom, and we've got some young blesbok just off to the right, and it looks like I would probably say these blesbok are from this year, so they're probably born in December, January during the calving season. So they are, yeah, still need to get some of their adult colorations in. They are from the Bovidae family, so the same family as sheep and goats. The average lifespan of a blesbok like this is probably between 10 to 15 years. Oh, got some warthogs here. Let's listen and see if we can hear them slurping at the little puddle of water. So I'm praying. I'm praying that these warthogs have a bit of a mud bath, but that little piglet, or sub-adult warthog, did not seem too chuffed. It seemed like he smelt something. So you see him put his nose up, kind of sniffed something. Something could have given him a little bit of a fright. Maybe there's a predator close by. He's not too happy. So speaking about animals getting stuck in the water, we once had, where was it? Over in Madikwe at Tau, we had a baby zebra that got stuck in the mud one day. Again, in most game reserves, you always want to leave nature to get on in the most natural way possible, but this little baby zebra was so badly stuck in the mud, so thank goodness some of the reserve team came over, and by the time we finished the Live at the Waterhole show, they'd actually managed to pull this little zebra out of the mud, and the zebra reunited with his family. So it was a really happy story. Just as these warthogs are making me quite happy right now. It's always lovely watching little warthogs. Yeah, so spunky and full of life, and especially the youngsters, they love playing with each other. So it's a very important part of their social development. These young warthogs playing with each other helps them develop their kind of sensory skills and be able to grow up and fight with their enemies one day. Good defense mechanism. Spas Inkov, thank you for your comment. Yes, it is great to be back and lovely to start off. We've had quite a good start to the show already. Giraffe, a zebra, a cat eye pan, and now here at Founders we've had some more zebra, blesbok, and warthogs. So yeah, lovely. You have not missed out on too much, Spas Inkov, just a giraffe and zebra. But yeah, thank you for joining us today. Karen is really excited to have these little warthogs. They are very cute, Karen. Warthogs, very entertaining. I was hoping they would have a bit of a mud bath, but on wintry cold days, warthogs are not always so inclined to go for a mud bath, but definitely in the summer, if you see these little warthogs down by the watering hole, they will be thick in the mud. So see how he's on his haunches, these warthogs. So it's really interesting, I find, the feeding behavior of these warthogs during the rainy season. You barely see them on their haunches feeding, but as it starts to dry out, there's less and less food, not so much available grass right at their kind of nose height. So they spend a lot more time on their haunches digging for those roots, shoots and tubers. Sandy Franklin, good morning Sandy Franklin, thank you for joining us today. Why don't we head across to Tammy in Hoedspruit and see how Tammy's doing with her little cubs. Oh goodness, and welcome to the Hoedspruit Endangered Species Centre, folks. We have this female cheetah, Tammy, with her little cubs, and it has been quite a while since I saw them. They are growing up very quickly, changing their colour quite a bit, so their heads have still stayed quite brown, but their bodies are quite grey in colour. Look at them, they're getting so big so quickly. Very playful. I've been seeing some feeds and updates of these little guys, and they've been climbing trees and getting up to all kinds of nonsense. It's been such a privilege to watch this little family grow. See, they're still busy suckling. Must be giving their mother quite a hard time now that they're so full of beans and energy and all over the place. So we had a question coming through just now about warthogs and lifespan of warthogs from Craig. So Craig, on the average in the wild, warthogs can live anything between 7 to 11 years old, although in captivity there's a few individuals that have been recorded to have lived older than 11, so about 14, 15 years. So with most animals, they can live longer in captivity, except for elephants. Elephants don't do so well in captivity. So warthogs do often fall prey in the wild to lions, leopards, hyenas and crocodiles. And little baby warthogs are also eaten by many predators, including big birds of prey. And I've even seen, oh, listen. I don't know if this is a bird calling or if it's one of the little cheetah. The little baby cheetah vocalization can often sound like a bird call. Oh, listen. So it's quite cool how obviously cheetah are a very endangered species. They do get impacted by other larger predators. So baby cheetah do get killed by lions, leopards, hyenas, even jackal if they get the chance. So I think it's probably one of their defense mechanisms that cheetah have come up with, that their call or their vocalization and contact call between a mother and her young sounds very similar to a bird calling. So, yeah, lovely to hear the sound of one of these cheetah vocalizing. Have some more viewers coming in. Thank you, Mr. Ellie Mental, for joining us. All the way from Australia in Perth. Thank you for joining us today, Mr. Ellie Mental. We also have Mercedes Bean. Apparently soon the keepers will have to add another bowl. These little guys are eating like mad, so I do agree with you there, Mercedes Bean. These little cheetah are going to start eating this place out of house and homes. As they grow bigger and older, they have more of a demand for nutrients and food and meat. So that's why it's so important that they drink this very nutrient and protein rich milk that they're getting right now from their mother. As you can see, I think there's 2 of them suckling at the moment. So I have a comment from Karen, or more like a question. So Karen is asking, would the cheetah climb up the fence at all? So Karen, these cheetah in the center are part of the cheetah meta population, and they're in the center, and they are a really important part of the breeding program of cheetah in South Africa. So these little cheetah cubs will be re-released and reintroduced into the wild over quite a slow reintroduction program into bigger enclosures, and then when they're able to hunt for themselves, then they will be released back into the wild. Cheetah are not too great at climbing trees, so I don't think they'd be able to climb these fences, although nature does always surprise us, and I have seen cheetahs up trees before, especially if they have to escape predators. Anything is possible. But yeah, definitely tree climbing is not one of the major skills of cheetah. Leopard are a lot more, their bodies are more readily designed for climbing up trees. Cheetahs are designed to be on the ground for speed, for speed and agility while hunting for their prey. Oh, check out these little guys suckling away. They're such little cute fur balls, aren't they? I do take my hat off to this female cheetah, Tammy. She has definitely got a big job looking after 4 cubs.
Join me, Andrew Wistenholm, for an indescribable 6-night stay in the beautiful Albany of the Eastern Cape at Amakhala Game Reserve. Now, this trip is going to be action-packed with a lot of storytelling, adventure, as well as the opportunity to make everlasting memories. We'll be exploring the best of Amakhala by staying at 2 luxury lodges, which will be the perfect blend of comfort as well as wilderness. Book your spot today, and let's get ready to explore the wild beauty of Amakhala.
My name is Takudzwa Panda Msesani. I really want to film an artwork, and it has been my goal. I'll be just keeping my eyes open. The worst driver is Jem. He's driving, yeah. You gotta be holding on back in there, yeah? Like in bumps, and I mean, it happens when these things happens when you're actually going for animals usually. But then, yeah, he's driving, yeah. You gotta put your seatbelt.
Are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime? Wild Earth Travel's newsletter is your passport to a magical journey. Explore exclusive travel options featuring special offers at stunning Wild Earth locations, and all hosted by your favorite presenters. Don't miss out. Head over to our website and subscribe to the Wild Earth Travel newsletter today and stay in the know on all our unforgettable adventures. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Explanatory there. So he's probably had his cartilage in his ear broken, Mr. Floppy Ear. Lots of big tusker bulls in this area. So Nadine tells me apparently Floppy Ear and Wonton have been having some interactions, a little elephant domestics between the two of them. This guy doesn't look too big to me, so I would definitely put my money on Wonton. I wouldn't put my money on this young bull. But Hey, I've seen the craziest things happening in elephant fights. Sometimes you think the biggest elephant he's not always the one that wins the fight. It's kind of like you're watching a UFC or something like that, or wrestling match, and you always never underestimate the underdog. They sometimes surprise you. So the bigger these elephant bulls get, like 1 ton, yes, he's got a very impressive body size, one massive long tusk of his, which can be an advantage because it almost acts like a spear, but he only has, his tusks can also be a disadvantage. So sometimes I've seen elephants with 1 tusk or with crisscrossing tusks that are actually disadvantaged in fights because their tusks don't have the same effect of that natural stabbing reaction that elephants will have when they're fighting with each other. So I've seen smaller bodied elephants with shorter tusks actually winning in fights over bigger elephant bulls. Alright, sorry folks, our feet seem to be slightly unstable here, so let's head over to Tembe, see if we can find some more tuskers, shall we? Oh my goodness. Hello Tembe. It is looking very dry. Oh, wow. So I haven't been on live at the waterhole for a few weeks now. So it's really nice to see how the locations are all changing. Definitely see a change of season. I know here in Johannesburg it's been very cold in the mornings, between about 2 to 3 degrees, and it has a lot of the grass ends up having a lot of frost. So sometimes on these cold winter mornings that frost really dries out the grass quite a lot, brings in the rainy dry season. Oh, we've got some elephants having a mud bath. I think there's 2 elephants there. Trying to see if these are breeding herds or just bulls. Often at this watering hole you get lots of individual elephant bulls that have all congregated in the same place for a nice afternoon meet and greet, but looks like there could be some females here. Maybe a youngster just down on the left. So lovely. Could sit and watch elephants for hours. Especially those elephants that they get stuck in the mud. That's so amazing how the moment a little elephant gets stuck in the mud, oh, you definitely hear it from the mother. She gets very vocal, and the whole herd actually comes around and tries to assist in helping this little elephant out of the mud when elephants do get stuck in the mud. Yeah, I think there's a breeding herd here. Looks like there's some young bulls. These 2 look like they could be young bulls, and there might be a female at the back here with her little one that's being hidden. It's been a while since I've seen a breeding herd of elephants here at Tembe. Hello Tinas, hello. Thank you for joining us today. And yes, Tinas, I have visited the MC, and I think on one of the occasions Nadine was there. But yeah, every now and then, especially after Mabula stints, I always end up popping in there to drop a few things off. So yeah, it's lovely to see how MC operates and everyone in action. Let's see, what have we got here? Wow. These watering holes have dried up quite a bit as well. So normally this is all water here where these elephants are standing. See, this one young elephant has got 1 tusk. Could have been born with just 1 tusk, or maybe got an injury of some sort. But yeah, tuskless elephants are quite common now. Hello little guy, seems to be playing with these reeds, so really perfect vegetation for these elephants to feed on down by the watering hole. So yeah, lovely to see some breeding herds. There's obviously a female with her youngster, and they're really enjoying the lush green vegetation just down by the water. I'm quite surprised by how these pans are drying up so quickly. But Tembe is quite an unusual location, I must say. They seem to get some early rains. I remember last year on Live at the Waterhole, it was the one location that seemed to be mostly green throughout the year. So obviously different parts of South Africa have different climates, different rainfall patterns and different weather. So I think it's quite nice. Those sand forests over in Tembe Elephant Park, they seem to receive some early rains to get the grass nice and green and sustain all the incredible wildlife that live in Tembe. I would love to go on a birding expedition walk in Tembe. I think that would be great. Just go on foot, walking through Tembe, seeing what birds you can find in those forests. Those sand forests do make for quite interesting habitats, which you can find a lot of really interesting bird species. I know there's lots of cuckoos also during possibly close to the end of the year when all the cuckoos start coming back down to southern Africa. Lots of cuckoo species. We haven't seen our little bee eaters or our kingfishers for a while, but often we have a little brown hooded kingfisher. Likes to hunt from some of these little acacia thorn trees. If we're lucky, little pied kingfisher sometimes hunts. Wow, there's a lot of breeding herds here today. My goodness. So all right, why don't we try and see what's happening in Camelthorn over in Botswana? I believe there's some activity there. Well, these hippos sure did have quite a lot to say. Oh my goodness. So lovely to see hippos out of the water. I mean, it is winter, so it's quite common to see hippos out of the water in winter. But yeah, lovely to see this little baby hippo and lots of male hippos also vocalizing. My guess is probably that this water levels or the pans here are also drying out a little bit. It's probably making the male hippos quite antsy. Let's have a listen. So I thought maybe we'd get some more vocalizations from the hippos. So I think these pans are drying out quite a bit. This is a new location, so very exciting to have a new location. I think I did have a bit of a search and saw some images from here. Lots of giraffe and zebra activity, elephants, and of course very popular with the hippos. Look at this baby hippo. He seems to be also full of life, full of activity, very happy. Nice little sandy spot there. It's a very good life for a little baby hippo like that. He's got a very protective mother hippo that will take very good care of him. So this location, Camelthorn Farmstead, apparently does offer quite a unique bush immersion experience. They do have some rustic tents. Oh, lots of hippos as well, crocodiles. My goodness, check out all those crocodiles. So lots of, I've seen some previous videos of this place and lots of wildlife, lots of game that come down here. I'm sure as the water levels start to dwindle, these crocodiles will have lots to feast on. So Tinus is asking a question about my bird list. So Tinus, I'm still just under 600. I'm still trying to get to 600. I do find it quite difficult. A lot of my birds are not appearing. Between Merlin and eBird, I'm losing a lot of birds. So I should be over 600. But on my last trip to Zanzibar, I did get a few of the Pemba bird species. So pretty good, cool to get that Pemba sunbird and some new bird species for me there. I'd love to know what number of birds you are currently on at the moment, Tinus. As I mentioned, I'm probably just under 600. If I can get all the birds on my list, I'd say just over 600. Wow, check at these hippos. Oh my goodness. There's a lot of hippos. Wow. Nice banks over there as well for bee eaters to nest. So Nadine is just saying that there are a lot of hippos here and they seem to be very active, roaming around quite a lot. So yeah, lovely to have a new location on the African cameras here, some new entertainment for us. So lots of comments coming through about our little baby hippo. So Mindy says the little baby hippo looks like a Tootsie Roll. And I do agree with you, Mindy. It does look like a little Tootsie Roll, doesn't he? Kelly is enjoying the sounds of these noisy hippos. What a lovely sound from Maisha Essay. We've also got some comments from Spas Inkov, is asking how rare is it to observe hippos mating, Kerry. So Spas Inkov, I've actually only seen hippos mating once, and it was, I think we were on kayaks, and we were quite afraid because every time we bumped into hippos, especially on kayaks, we normally got charged by the hippos, or they were not having a good day, or if you're in a boat it's a bit safer, but in kayaks. But anyway, we pulled up onto these trees and just waited while we were holding onto the trees in the water, and we saw these hippos mating. But again, we didn't know what was happening at first. First thing we thought there was a hippo trying to climb over a bank or trying to climb onto us to attack us. We didn't know, so we just waited there quietly and eventually realized, oh dear, shame, there's actually a female hippo underneath that big male hippo. So hippos do mate in the water. It is very helpful for the male and the female not to be squashed. Right, so it seems like we've got a pretty good view of a hippo over at Nkoro. Should we go and check out these other hippos at Nkoro? Oh wow, hello Mr. Hippo. So we're over in Nkoro Bush Lodge in the Sabi Sands, and it seems like we've got big old male hippo that's got some terrapin friends just chilling, hanging out. This looks like quite an old boy. You can see he's not in the greatest shape, lots of scars. He's also lost a little bit of condition, so he's probably an old bull. So talking about hippos, we've got some more hippo comments that have come through. So Dark Mane Lover has just joined us. Thank you for joining us this afternoon, Dark Mane Lover. We're talking about hippos and hippos mating and how they do mate in the water because they are such large creatures. The poor female would probably be squashed if they mated out of the water. So yeah, they do mate in the water. Joanne Miller was commenting how lovely it was to see some crocodiles over at Camelthorn in Botswana. And Duncan was asking if hippos leak the salty stiff. I'm not too sure what you're asking there, Duncan, but hippos do have this very interesting liquid that they secrete from their skin called hippo sweat or hippojurassic acid that acts as an insect repellent for their skin, but also acts as an antiseptic and a sun cream. So imagine how interesting nature is and how incredible nature is that hippos can actually produce their own insect repellent, their own sun cream, and their own antiseptic liquid that helps to heal their skin, which is very useful for these hippos because look, hippos spend so much time in the water. When they get into fights or get injuries on their skin, even terrapins, I've seen terrapins ripping skin off of hippos where they've had injuries, or obviously oxpeckers too. So that pinkish liquid that they excrete from their skin does really help to heal up these wounds of theirs. Oh, look at this little terrapin. He had a really nice little comfy spot right on his neck.
name is Maxine Gaines. Most people that know me really well call me Max. I'm a mum. I have 2 boys. One is 16 years old and one is 14 years old. I'm a very, very proud mama of my 2 boys. I've just always been passionate about leopards. I'm passionate about their conservation. I'm just passionate about everything to do with leopards. I love them.
Hyenas love bathing.
Waterbuck also excrete this liquid to protect their skin from the water. Sometimes this liquid can make them smell not so pleasant. Oh, check out this little guy. So looks like we've got 2 youngsters here on the right and the left. Wow, we've got 9 female waterbuck. I wonder where the male is. Got a comment from Just Kendra. So I think Just Kendra was commenting on the very cute little terrapin that we were watching, that were very relaxed on the back of our happy hippo. Let's listen to these waterbuck having a drink. Could hear the sound of those waterbuck slurping away. Oop. So the main predator for these waterbuck would be, often I've seen leopard. Leopard do often kill young waterbuck. And lions are again opportunistic. If they get an opportunity, I have seen a lion with a waterbuck kill. But the most common predator, I would say, for these waterbuck, definitely leopard. But often leopard don't always completely consume a leopard kill of a waterbuck. So in camps, lots of the camps I've worked in, especially on the Zambezi River, you almost every month or second month, depending on if you have lots of leopard in the area, you have the leopard dragging their waterbuck kill up a tree, and it is quite common that the leopards don't come back for leftovers. So because of that terrible smell on their skin, it's not exactly a prized meal for a leopard. But again, when desperate times calls for desperate measures, leopard will take down a little young waterbuck. Where's the male? Having a look for the male waterbuck. Spicy and carve. Yes, it is very lovely to see a herd of waterbuck here at Serengeti in Tanzania. You must definitely add this location to your list. I'm sure your list is getting very big, Spicy and Carve. Lots of destinations, so many places to explore and animals to see. So Joshua Drown has just sent through a comment saying that there is a leopard that does lurk around these areas. So it's obviously not too much of a busy pan. If there was lots of elephant activity coming in and out of this pan, there wouldn't be much grass at the edge of the water here. So perfect place for a leopard to hide in these little thick bushes close to the water's edge and jump onto an unsuspecting prey. So I guess it would be a nice place for some bushbuck also to come down for a nice afternoon drink. Oh, sounded like that waterbuck had a little bit of a cold. Someone was giving a bit of a snort. Sounded like maybe it could have been grass seeds, or maybe, yeah, I don't know if waterbuck can have, obviously they can have chest issues, but sometimes grass seeds often get stuck in the noses of a lot of these antelope. So it can be a reason why they could try and snort like that. Little baby waterbuck maybe going to play for us. So very fluffy. That extra fluff and fur helps to insulate their body temperature, keep them nice and warm, because they do often hang out in very low-lying areas, waterbuck, and it is very cold down there. So we have a very interesting question from Tinus. So Tinus is asking why the waterbucks have rings, why these waterbucks don't have rings around their bottoms. So it could be because of the hybridization, so it's a different subspecies of waterbuck than the waterbuck that we have in southern Africa. So they don't actually have rings around their bottoms. So in southern Africa, most of the waterbucks we see can have these rings, and very interesting. I didn't actually notice that before. But yeah, there's lots of different theories why these waterbuck in southern Africa have these rings. Obviously the most common one is the whole toilet seat, that the waterbuck sat on a wet painted toilet seat and got this ring around their bottom, but it's a very good follow me sign for the youngsters through the bush as well. Could be to also break up the body shape of the waterbuck in thick bush. So yeah, but you do get in other countries, more in East Africa, waterbuck that do not have this ring around their bottom. It's the Defasa waterbuck, so mostly found in Central Africa, and are absent of this ring on their bottom. So instead of this ring, they do have a more solid white or pale patch just underneath their rump. So you can see here, it's like a slightly whiter patch, but no actual ring. You also get these waterbuck also into parts of Zambia and in northern Zimbabwe. You might see a Defasa or a hybridized Defasa waterbuck species. I know in Zimbabwe we do get the lechwe. There was a lechwe that actually crossed the river from Zambia into Zimbabwe. So there's one random lechwe running around in a herd of impala. So lechwe antelope looks very similar to impala, but I'd say it hybridized. It almost looks like a hybridized between an impala and a sitatunga. So they've got those very long, almost stiletto toes. They spend a lot of time in very thick, muddy, marshy areas. Those stiletto toes of theirs help them to walk on top of the reeds. So yeah, it's very interesting how neighboring countries that might have this Defasa waterbuck, for example in Zambia, in times when the water comes across, sometimes those individuals can cross the river, and that's why it's so important when you see these species to report them, so that we can update the databases of where these animals occur, because animals don't quite always stick to the rule book of where they're supposed to stay, where they're supposed to go. So they do often move and roam in different areas, just like with birds. So Spasiankov, yes, these are the Defasa waterbuck, as I mentioned earlier. And Defasa waterbuck are mostly occurring in Western Africa, Central Western Africa. I also mentioned they are in parts of Zambia, and they might have even crossed the river into certain parts of Zimbabwe. And there is a hybridized species that has been recorded. Alrighty, well, waterbuck seem like they're done with the watering hole. Lovely to see a new waterbuck species. So why don't we head across to Oldonyo and see if we have got some more elephants coming down to the watering hole. Looks like we've got a very lazy elephant. He's balancing his trunk on his tusk. But I think if I also had a trunk that could weigh 9 to 12 kilograms, it would also get a bit tiring carrying that giant nose around with you all day. So luckily this elephant has 2 tusks that he can balance his trunk on when he feels like he needs a rest. I feel like it's afternoon, or it's lunchtime nap. Maybe he's already had quite a busy morning, been feeding a lot, come down to the watering hole for a drink. Yes, Nadine said this elephant looks like he has had quite the busy Tuesday. You know, when you're just done with the day and you just want to go and just sleep the rest of the day away. He's a very impressive big male elephant here. You can see he's got quite a lot of sunken in skin in his skull there. He's very well matured and just chilling. So Darkmane Lover sent through a comment about our waterbuck, and yes, I agree with you there, Darkmane Lover. These waterbuck, the Defasa waterbuck, have not yet sat on the toilet seat, the wet toilet seat, or maybe they just obeyed the sign that said please do not enter, and they didn't sit on the wet toilet seat. So hello big boy. Well, it seems like our elephant bull is just having a bit of a lazy afternoon. So while he decides what he's going to do with the rest of his day, should we head over to Lentore and see what's happening with a bit of a bird party? Alrighty. So I do love the bird parties here at Lentore over in Kenya. Often get a lot of these waxbills or African firefinches, and this camera, I'm dying to see live something amazing at this camera. I've been seeing some great stuff on social media. I believe this watering hole, this pan, you can actually sit here and take pictures at night. There's different kinds of lighting that they do put on at the watering hole, so you can either have a backlight or a front light. And the leopards, there's been some incredible leopard sightings here, striped hyena, I think caracal, yeah, there's been some caracal, serval sightings, so I'm dying to see something spectacular here. Live would be great. I know most of the really cool sightings at this watering hole have been at night, so if there is a camera that you are wondering which camera you should sit watching if you struggle with insomnia and you spend a lot of time watching me live at Africam cameras, I would definitely recommend watching Lentore. Just leave it to play in the background because something happens here at night. Well, actually quite a lot does. But we normally have our giant ground squirrels that also pop in, also for a bit of a visit. Sometimes there's a male and female hammerkop that have a nest close by. Often hear them vocalizing. Oh, there's our squirrel. Hello, Mr. Squirrel. So I just had recently someone who described a very perfect behavior in comparison to squirrels. So it's somebody that never sits still, someone that's constantly like bouncing around here and there. It's just like a squirrel. So the next time you have a friend that you're trying to tell them to just chill and take it easy, just tell them to stop squirreling, because squirrels are very bouncy. They're always all over the place.
My name is Amy, and today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently.
Even a hyena coming into the action as well now. Oh my word! She's stalking the hyena now. Leopard, hyena, lion, all together in one shot. Oh! Woo! This is action-packed.
name is Maxine Gaines. Best part of the job, gosh, I just love everything about guiding. I love being able to observe animal behavior and animals behaving naturally. So for me, that's by far the best part of the job. And so what we do here at Wild Earth is develop those connections with the people that are viewing, and maybe just light a little spark that says, you know what, I want to be involved in protecting this ecosystem.
Step into the heart of Africa from the comfort of your home.
Female leopard tracks over here.
Join our expert guides for a live 3-hour safari where every moment is real, unscripted, and unforgettable. Ask questions.
Animals rely on their senses.
Share your thoughts and be part of the experience as we explore together. Safari Live.
Like these Egyptian geese are coming back to the water. You can hear a bit of a splish and a splash. So Praseda Raghaven, sorry if I've mispronounced that. Thank you for joining us, and this is a lovely sighting. We got another comment from, and again, excuse my pronunciation, Mzwandile has sent through a comment asking, from what age do elephants' trunks start growing? So elephants are actually born with little trunks, and they grow throughout their lifespan. Such an important prehensile tool that these elephants have, that long trunk on the end of their faces there, adapting the way that they drink, and also they use their trunk for feeding. So very important part of feeding those trunks of elephants. So talking about adaptations, you can see how this female white rhino, both of them, but more prominent in the female here on the left, you can see she's got a very wide square lip. So again, where the name comes from, white rhino or wide-lipped rhino, in reference to that wide lip, and it's because they're grazers. So these white rhino here in the Eastern Cape, there's not much thick bush, it's mostly open grassland, perfect habitat for these white rhino to feed. Catherine, yes, this little baby is growing up very quickly. Last time I saw him was maybe a few weeks ago, and definitely was not as big. It's incredible how quickly these wild animals grow. Their mother's nutritious and protein-filled milk does help give them that energy, and it makes them grow very quickly. They grow up so fast, don't they? Wildlife lady, yes, it is such a treat to see these rhinos here. Lovely to see these white rhinos. No, there's been, oh, what's this little baby doing? Looks like he wanted to play in the mud a bit. So obviously over in Valverfonden and Mabula, there are lots of, quite a healthy population of white rhinos, so you often get interactions. So I've had lots of very interesting interactions with white rhino over in Valverfonden and Mabula. We're still looking for those rare and black rhinos. So Mabula does also have black rhino, same at Valverfonden. BK and I were very lucky. We did have, I think, 3 sightings of black rhino over in Valverfonden, even though very rare to see them. But the minute we saw them, we're like, no, something's wrong here. So the whole mannerisms and behavior is completely different with black rhino to white rhino. And yes, obviously black rhino are a lot smaller than white rhino, but if you don't see them together, can be quite difficult to tell. So for me, white rhino are like these, yes, I would never go up to white rhino and just cuddle it, but they're kind of like cuddly, unfluffy unicorns compared to black rhino. Black rhino can have quite a temper on them, and that's how their behavior changes a lot. So black rhino, instantly when you see a black rhino, they're very aggressive, head is held up all the time, They generally will give you a bit of a snort and a charge if they have a chance. So yeah, you do not want to bump into a black rhino in the bush. You will definitely come off second best. So Bill Judd has asked a question about which rhino is an easy target for lions. So yeah, baby rhinos are a pretty easy target for lions. Of course, they do have to get through the very protective mother, but yeah, if there's a small pride of lions, they will take the chance to go for a little rhino if they have the opportunity. But again, often you'll find these rhinos are always accompanied by their mothers. But yeah, a single lion on his own or a lioness on her own would be very brave to try and take on a rhino with a big female close by, and very protective over their young. Look at this little guy curling his tail. So yeah, I mostly grew up with black rhino, so I spent a lot more time with black rhino, but in my adult life and in most of my guiding career, I've actually spent a lot more time with white rhino than black, so I find them a lot easier to maneuver around. I've done horseback safaris with white rhino, and you can get very close to them, whereas every single time I have bumped into black rhinos on a horseback safari, it's always ended with us being chased by rhinos. So as I mentioned, black rhinos, very temperamental. White rhinos are very fluffy and soft and adorable. So we have a question here from Spas Inkov is asking how water dependent rhinos are. Yes, at Valvervonden we did have some really good rhino sightings and interactions with white and black rhino. Mabola, BK and I were still searching for those black rhinos. So hopefully sometime soon we'll manage to find them. I think we might have to go on foot, which will be very entertaining. Oh, this little baby rhino is, I don't think he's eating this piece of vegetation. I think he's just playing around a little bit. So to answer your question there, Spas Inkov, about rhinos and how water dependent they are, so they are quite dependent on water. They do need to drink daily if the water is available. I mean, they do also like to wallow in the mud quite regularly, not just for fun, but also to cool themselves off, protect their skin from parasites and any sunburn. But yeah, you'll usually find that within a few kilometers of water, you'll always find rhinos close by. So especially with black rhino love to hang out in those drainage lines. Often there'll be little puddles of water for them to come and drink. But yeah, black rhino can go for longer periods without drinking in dry areas compared to white rhino. So white rhino, I would say, are a lot more water dependent than black rhino. Seems like these rhino have had a good drink. Again, I think it must be quite chilly in the Eastern Cape. They're not interested in having a mud bath today. We have a little Cape wagtail that's also come to say hello. Got a very bubbly, happy personality, these little wagtails. They never stop though. They're always going, always have that tail bouncing. We have a comment from Eagle Lover. Yes, Eagle Lover, it is such a privilege to be able to watch all these different locations here live at the waterhole. These Africam cameras, it's amazing to see all the new locations that have been coming up, and yeah, from the comfort of our home we can sit and watch so many different locations, which right now I must say I'm very grateful for. We can sit very comfortably. I've got gloves and socks and jackets, all very warm. My cappuccino close by, instead of some of these hides can be rather cold, I must tell you that. And then you don't always want to make too much noise with the clinking and clanking of the teacups, so try and limit the amount of noise you make when you're sitting in these little hides. praying that something comes out. So very fortunate to be able to watch all of this wildlife from the comfort of our homes. Sounds like something else has come down to the watering hole. I wonder what that is. So Spas Inkov has sent through a comment about safari on foot. Yes, Spas Inkov, walking safaris are incredible to do when you are in Africa. You definitely have a different perspective on wildlife. Yeah, we didn't do so much walking at Mabula, a few times looking for the cheetah, but yeah, in Valfafond and BK and I did spend quite a lot of time on foot walking. But when I'm next back at Mabula, I definitely want to get on foot into those drainage lines, go and see if we can find some black rhino. Whenever you're looking for black rhino on foot, always be prepared that you might not always return the same way you intended on returning, and yeah, make sure your shoes are always very well tied, because black rhino, you never know which bush they're going to come out from, and the shoes are always the first things that go for some strange reason. Hello, Egyptian geese calling just now. Wonder if anything else has come down to the watering hole. Nice to see that little Cape wagtail. Hello, yes, our zebra have come back. So we did come and start off the show earlier. We were here over at Founders Lodge and we had some little family of warthogs that came down, a couple of zebra and some blesbok that also graced us with their presence, probably some young blesbok, still a bit mottled in colour. I'm trying to see this female zebra. She looks like she could be a pregnant female. Not too chuffed with life. There's probably a few more other zebra around. This zebra can be quite feisty individuals. Oh yeah, she's got a little bit of a bulging belly, this female. So gestation period for zebra is very similar to that of a horse. So it's about 360 to 365 days. Whereby the female zebra gives birth to her little baby foal. Alright folks, why don't we head across to Eldonyo over in Kenya and see what's happening there with some zebra and elephants. Oh my goodness. I have never seen so many zebra here at Eldonyo. Check at these guys. Oh my gosh. They're very brave. This watering hole is quite small for so many zebra. Let's have a bit of a quiet moment as we listen to this commotion. So Sandra, this sure is a very small watering hole and very busy at this time. So yeah, lots of zebra that have all come together. So probably quite a few different family groups that have all congregated in this area to come for a drink. This elephant seems to have a very itchy leg. He's of course giving us his best side. Hate when that happens. You don't realize you're actually being watched while you have your bottom in the camera. So you have this big elephant bull that's on the opposite side of the pan. He's kind of, yeah, he was that chilled big old bull we saw earlier. But this is a new bull that's just joined us here, Mr. Itchy Leg. These zebra are very brave, all coming down to drink at the same time. So Karen, I do agree with you there. The more zebra you see, the more you love them. Yeah, zebra is one of my favorite mammal species. Definitely cannot get enough of zebra, and we've had a very busy zebra day today. I think we've had zebra at pretty much most of our locations today, so yeah, it's been a very zebra filled day. So Maisha from South Africa has sent through a comment about this amazing zebra sighting. I do agree with you there, Maisha. It is very cool to see so many zebra. Oh, our floppy-eared friend is also back. MJ was asking... Oh. There's way too many big elephant balls at this pan for so many zebra. And they probably come from quite far, very thirsty. That's why they're hanging out here. So MJ is asking about the gestation period for a zebra. So it's about 360 to 365 days. There's a lot of activity here, so we'll just have a bit of a quiet moment to listen to this very loud and interesting sounds of nature and the zebra having a good drink. So we have 3 very big elephant bulls at this watering hole. Mr. Floppy Ear to the right, and Mr. Very chill dude to the left, and then this guy with the big itchy leg. Maybe there'll be a bit of a elephant fight here. I feel like if Gwen was around, she'd be cheering them on to fight. We have Jared with us in MC here at the moment, and he agreed that Gwen is always the first one to cheer on for an animal fight to break out. We had a Mabula Fight Club series in my first few months in Mabula there with a BK, and I don't know, but whenever Gwen was around, the animals just started fighting. It was the weirdest thing. It could be birds, frogs, mammals, elephants, rhinos, everything would start fighting. It was a little bit of entertainment and activity. Mr. Floppy Ear is giving a very interesting greeting to his fellow elephant friend here. And this vocalization of the zebra's distress call, so they could be trying to locate the rest of his harem. And when they are drinking like this together in such close proximity, the zebra need to be so careful, especially the stallions can be quite nasty, and the last thing you want from another fellow zebra friend is a kick to the face. They can cause quite a lot of damage. These zebras, be very careful. So quite a few interesting little facts and fables I've learned about zebras. Apparently the Khoisan, so the San people, they used to believe that zebra were once pure white, and one day during a drought the zebra fought with a baboon from a watering hole, and in the scuffle with the baboon, the zebra kicked the baboon into a rock, giving the baboon its bare red bottom. And then once the zebra had kicked the baboon, it came across a fire, of which it rolled in the ashy soil, and the burn ash stuck to the zebra's back, scorching marks onto their coat, forever branding them black and white. So that's how
katika mwanga wa mwezi, kivuli hutembea, mrembo mweusi anayepotea, macho yake ni taa, gizani huwaka, fuvu la msitu, malkia anayejificha.
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
Would you like to know what an elephant's favorite food is? You could ask me questions like that in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive from the heart of Africa.
The Fortunas over here.
Watch Safari Live and connect with nature.
Out here, every wild moment counts, and as a Wild Earth explorer, you won't miss a thing.
Incredible.
Watch the Wild Earth channel ad-free 24/7 and rewind if you want to catch something again. Enjoy behind-the-scenes videos, fireside chats, and early access to travel offers. The best way to stay connected and be part of the Wild Earth family.
So we've got quite a few more zebra that have come down to the watering hole. I think we just saw one or two earlier today. But yeah, nice to see the whole harem has arrived. So research does show that the black and white colors of these zebra does help to thermoregulate their temperature. So the tiny air currents that helps to cool down their body. So it's quite useful in very hot areas like Botswana, where it's very hot. And if you are a horse owner or horse lover, I'm sure you've heard about the studies that have been done in horse blankets. So they're now making horse blankets in zebra striped patterns that apparently also there's a theory that it attracts insects. So the black and white color, there's some scientific research that's been done proving that this black and white color chases away insects. So I've had quite a few horses that I've worked with last year that struggled with the flies, and you put that zebra horse blanket on and it's amazing how all of a sudden the insects don't bother them so much. So yeah, quite an interesting theory there. And yeah, nice to have a zebra in your little herd of horses roaming around your garden, I think. This watering hole has dried up quite a lot. So these zebra do live in quite tight-knit family groups, known as harems, generally led by one stallion, made up of some mares and foals. As we mentioned, gestation period of zebra is about 360 to 365 days. It's actually one of the few animals that I've seen quite a few times giving birth. It's quite rare to see animals giving birth, but for some reason I've had, I think, 3 traumatic sightings of zebra giving birth, and it's always been the same thing, turning around a corner as you're on the way back from a game drive or on your way to a game drive, a night drive, and boom, right on the side of the road there's a female zebra giving birth.
Now this leopard that we're looking at is known by the name of Hlalamba.
What does it take to handle the wild? Balance. Determination. Focus.
Yaku!
And gear that can take a beating so you don't have to.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
So we have a question talking about zebra. So Brian is asking a question about can horses and zebra hybridize? So answer to your question is yes. Sorry folks, just having some little technical difficulties there, but it's really lovely to just sit and watch this beautiful rhino that's just come down to grace us with its presence again. So we had a question about zebra and horses hybridizing. So yes, the hybrid between a zebra and a horse is known as a zorse, and then of course you do get a zonkey, which is hybridized between a donkey and a zebra. So you do see it quite often. Seen it in some areas in Zimbabwe, especially along the villages where the donkeys might easily come into contact with zebra. You see these donkeys that look like normal donkeys, but they have striped legs. So yes, it can happen from time to time. But generally the offspring of a zebra and a horse or a zebra and a donkey will be sterile, so they'll become mules. Because of this mismatching chromosome numbers, that's what does cause this sterilization in the offspring of these individuals. So I do know with these zorses or zonkies, they can be quite temperamental, very unpredictable, and do have quite a temper on them. So it's probably better that they can't breed and procreate again. Oh, check out these two zebras standing up on this little mound here. It's like they're standing waiting for their little close-up for their selfie. You can see our rhino has got a collar on it here for tracking device. So it's got a little solar panel there, help to monitor these very special individuals. It's quite interesting with the zebra. So the stallions or males do sometimes try to attempt to mate these crossbreed species, but even if a zebra does try to mate with a zorse, there's very little chance that there'll be any offspring that can be procreated from there. So yeah, just lots of zebra around today. I can't believe how many zebra we've seen. It's been a very lucky zebra day. Zebra left, right and center. Zebra do look quite healthy here. So often it's very rare to see a sick zebra, but if you do see a zebra that is not in the greatest condition, you often find its mane is flopping over. So a lot of muscles in their necks that are needed in order to keep their manes up. So if you ever see a sick zebra, which is very rare, you'll find their manes are flopping over and they might be a bit thin, underweight. So zebra, as well as a lot of other species, so you can are called indicator species. So just like zebra, impala, warthog, mice, a lot of bird species as well, raptors. So lots of different animals in nature can be known as indicator species, and they can indicate a healthy environment. Fish and frogs, also very good indicator species of a healthy aquatic environment. Water birds, so all these species can also be very good indicators. So zebra are very good indicator species. If you see any of these indicator species that might be sick or not well or have mange, it can mean that either there's not enough space, not enough food, inbreeding, might be lots of parasites because there's too many, so overpopulation. So yeah, very good indicator species, zebra. So many zebra around today. Looks like a nice cold windy afternoon in the Eastern Cape. I know they've had some great sightings over at Amakhala. I think they saw a brown hyena the other day. I think Steve has had some great sightings a few months ago, or last month, or a few weeks ago, also with caracal and brown hyenas. And nice to see that they're seeing some brown hyena over in Amakhala. I know Amy and I have been very jealous of Eric. Eric has had some incredible luck with those wild dogs over in Mabula. I think they've finally come out of their little hidey holes and have been showing themselves quite a bit. I think Eric said he had seen them about 3 or 4 times on his last stint over at Mabula. So I am looking forward to getting back to Mabula and trying to find those very elusive wild dogs of Mabula. Our warthog friends are back. Look like he is feeding away something in the ground. Alrighty, why don't we go over to Tau and see what's happening in Madikwe. We haven't visited Tau yet, so it'd be nice to see what's happening in another part of South Africa. Oh, looks like quite a wildlife wonderland here in Tau today. Lots of activity. Got a troop of baboons that are scouring their way through these open plains. As usual, the baboons look like they are up to no good. Got some wildebeest, maybe a little herd of wildebeest, and a male herd of impala. So it's a bachelor herd of impala also roaming around. There's some very good specimens of male impala here at Tau. Seen some very interesting male impalas here with very long horns, so nice to see that there's some good genes of impalas here. Very dark baboons, so they'll be foraging, these baboons. Again, very interesting and entertaining to watch a troop of baboons. Always a lifesaver for us guides on a quiet afternoon or morning safari when you're not seeing too much else. You can always stop and watch baboons for hours. The big male baboon gave himself a bit of a scratch, and shame, looked like there was a youngster that didn't have a tail. So these baboons do rely on their tails quite a lot for balance while climbing up in the trees, and females rely on those tails also for balance for the little baby sitting on their back. So yeah, that youngster could have broken his tail. His tail's also for balance for the little baby sitting on. Look at these baboons go. So big male baboon here. So in a big troop like this, you can have anything between 2 to 3 big male baboons or big dogs that will be in charge of this troop of baboons. And so that youngster could have lost his tail from, it could have just broken off from natural causes. But sometimes these youngsters do get themselves into a bit of trouble, and it could have been broken off in a fight with some other bigger baboons. So Brenda, baboons do look rather scary. I have a lot of respect for baboons. Vervet monkeys are also can be quite scary too. So it's very interesting how with baboons and monkeys, they know the difference between men and women, and they are not afraid of women, I can tell you that, but baboons are very afraid of a man. So it can be quite petrifying. BK and I one day at Mabula were having a very nice breakfast, and a monkey came down and decided he wanted to help himself to my breakfast, which I wasn't too happy with, and he did not get it right from me at all. BK had to quickly stand up and chase the monkey away. So that's why we do encourage people not to feed the animals in national parks, because sometimes they lose their fear of humans, and once that happens, the last thing you want is to get a bite from a monkey or a big male baboon like this guy. So have a look there. Digging in the ground, so it looks like they're feeding on roots, so they could be feeding on roots, shoots, tubers. Baboons are omnivores, so they do also feed on insects. They will feed on any ground nesting birds or eggs that they find in the dry season when they're struggling to get food. They do also feed on, big male baboons will hunt and kill little impala, unfortunately. Or if they find a rabbit or a hare, they will also kill that too. So they are omnivores. They do need to sustain their body with a lot of protein, so they do have quite a variety of foods that they feed on. And if you are stranded in the wild, say your game viewer broke down and your guide
Join me for a magical safari to India, a wildly exotic land of tigers, temples and Kipling. To start, we'll head to Pench and then to Doba to look for the famed Bengal tiger, as well as deer in the dappled forests, sloth bears and countless birds. We'll stay in stunning eco-lodges that blend luxury with a light footprint. Our Indian adventure culminates in Agra with a sunrise visit to the Taj Mahal.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
Do you want to know why impala are the most common antelope we find here in the Kruger National Park? You can ask me questions like this in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive here in the heart of Africa. Join me on Safari Live. Connect with nature.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature, live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure. Every month, something wild lands in your inbox. From rare sightings and behind-the-scenes secrets to expert stories, seasonal changes, and exclusive travel opportunities, the Wild Earth Journal is your free monthly mailer, packed with the magic of the wild straight from the field. It's fun, it's free, it's full of surprises. Sign up now on the Wild Earth website.
They often will roost up in trees at night, and I don't know, there's something special about having your morning coffee underneath next to a nice big acacia tree or camel thorn tree, and the baboons or fig tree. The baboons are coming down in that early morning light. The vocalizing of the baboons is almost like the awakening of a new day. Beek and I in Valvervonden on a few occasions were sitting watching the baboons coming down from a fig tree in the early mornings, but we were quite disappointed in the baboons. It was very cold, and the baboons were only coming down from their tree at about 6:30 to 7:15. So I think those cold winter mornings, the baboons do sleep in a little bit. Got some warthogs down here also rummaging away. Oh, and a crocodile. Oh, check the crocodile. Oh my gosh. I think the warthogs didn't realize there was a crocodile there. They were feeding. Oh, no. They're feeding really close to this crocodile, and then all of a sudden got a bit of a fright and moved away. So they don't pose, this crocodile doesn't pose much of a threat to these warthogs out of the water, but if the crocodile is in the water, and these warthogs come down for a drink, then I wouldn't want to be one of these warthogs. You have to be very careful. Crocodiles are obviously opportunistic hunters. They will definitely take a young warthog like this, but I guess these warthogs don't find much danger in this crocodile out of the water. Look how close they are. Crocodile's enjoying himself in the sun. It's got some nice pearly white teeth there, all look intact. Often when you find older crocodiles, they're missing parts of their jaw or a few teeth here and there. I've often seen crocodiles lying on the water's edge with their mouths open, and they might let a little three-banded plover come and give them a bit of a dental clean, pick at some of that meat stuck between their teeth. This crocodile does look like he has a bulging belly, so he's probably had a meal sometime recently. And these crocodiles here at Tau have killed quite a few waterbuck in the past. Okay, let's watch and see how close these warthogs get to this crocodile. Although he's sleeping, the crocodile, so he's not too phased about getting a meal. Maybe the baboon will get a fright. Blends in so well, that camouflaged colour of that crocodile. So we've got a question here from Lucy, is asking about what the life expectancy is of a baboon. So yeah, average lifespan of a baboon, I'd say, is probably between 20 to 30 years of age. Probably in the wild they will live to about 25, but maybe in captivity they could live to about 30. So females do often live quite a bit longer than male baboons because they have less chances of getting into fights with other big male baboons. But yeah, in captivity, I think one of the oldest baboons has been recorded to live up to about the age of 45. Look at these warthogs, they are not phased at all. So again, the crocodile doesn't have much of an advantage, as I said earlier, of trying to attack one of these little warthogs because he's not in the water. So if he's in the water, then the crocodile can drown his prey, because crocodile rely on their concealment in the water and actually the element of surprise and dragging their prey down into the water and drowning their prey. So that's why I guess often on the banks these crocodiles don't have the advantages of making a kill. But I don't think this baboon has noticed that there's a crocodile there. The main threats of these baboons in the wild, besides a crocodile, will be leopards. So as we mentioned, leopards will sometimes kill baboons, even though it's not their favorite meal. I think a leopard would much rather take a little waterbuck for lunch or breakfast over a stinky baboon. But lions will also pose a threat to baboons, hyenas, snakes, and of course humans. The baboons do have quite a complex hierarchy structure, so the oldest females do play very important roles in the troop and form quite a stable family bond, and then of course you have hierarchy amongst the males as well. So Garth has sent through his comment. Yes, Garth, I agree with you that crocodile does seem to be rather sleepy on land and not too dangerous. And if you have a look, Garth, his tummy does seem quite full as well. So if crocodiles have made a substantial kill, they don't need to eat for a couple of days, in some cases even a couple of weeks. So like if this crocodile has made a kill of a young waterbuck, and if he's managed to consume that whole kill by himself without his kill being stolen from other crocodiles, then he can be full and not needing to hunt for a couple of weeks. Looks like we've got two black crakes down here to the left. Also a bit cautious while walking around this crocodile. Our baboons are still feeding away in the rocks. Lots of little treasures that they can find to feed on here. It's lovely to see baboons here at Tau. We don't often see baboons here at Tau Game Lodge. So another very important part of a baboon's family structure is grooming. So social grooming or allo grooming is a very good way for these baboons to form bonds amongst each other. Let's see, definitely a black, oh, this could be a juvenile. So we've got a black crake that's just a bit further in the vegetation there. And this could be a juvenile black crake. Doesn't look like he's quite got his full adult colors. I know there's lots of moorhens have also had their chicks. There's lots of little baby moorhens around at the moment. And grebes, little dab chicks. Normally perfect characteristic of these black crakes is they're constantly moving and bob their tail in a very interesting little fashion. So quite just like the Cape wagtail or the wagtails, also very busy little birds. So Garth, yes, baboons do prey on birds quite a lot, as we mentioned, ground nesting birds. So that's why you often find blacksmith lapwings. They will often dive bomb baboons if they're walking on a water's edge or on a shoreline where there could be a nest. And often the harassment of these blacksmith lapwings swooping down and harassing these baboons will chase the baboons off from their nest. But yeah, if baboons are foraging and come across a ground nest of guinea fowl, they will eat those eggs. Alright folks, why don't we head back across to Old Donio and see if we have some better signal there. Ooh, so we've still got, our zebras seem to have disappeared. We've still got a big elephant bull here, and looks like it could be a young male giraffe in the distance as well. Looks like a nice overcast day over in Kenya, a little bit of a breeze. Oop, and we've got a little three-banded plover. Oh, no, looks like a wagtail. Oh, looks like it could be a little pied wagtail also roaming around this pan. So crazy to believe, just a few minutes ago, this pan was filled with zebra and 3 big elephant bulls. This elephant bull looks like he is in must. So it's a elevated state of testosterone in these elephant bulls. So when they're younger, the younger elephant bulls do struggle to sometimes regulate these hormones and manage their emotions and all the hormones that are rushing through their bodies. But the older these elephant bulls get, I find the more they are able to deal with these hormones. So they're less temperamental and less aggressive. So yeah, the younger bulls really do struggle to manage those hormones and all the interesting emotions that they have rushing through their bodies. So yeah, they'll kind of just have, females will be on their brain, and that's all they'll be concerned about during this time. Let's have a listen, he's drinking. So last month, on one of my last episodes of Live at the Waterhole, we had some incredible birding here at Old Donio. We actually got 2 different wider species, which for me was 2 wider lifers that I got to add to my Live at the Waterhole life list. It's really cool. So the birding here can be really spectacular. I know there's some secretary birds that also hang out. Perfect umbrella thorn acacias or vachilias. Nice locations for nesting. Of course, we have the wattled starlings, flocks of wattled starlings that do come down to this watering hole quite frequently. Namakwa doves, oxpeckers on all the frequent mammal visitors.
This is an unbelievable afternoon.
Would you like to know at what age a buffalo calf gets its horns? These are questions that you can ask me in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive here in the heart of Africa. Join me on Safari Live and connect with nature.
Step away from your daily stress and escape into nature with Wild Earth. Immerse yourself in the wilderness and become part of the natural landscape. Watch as everything comes alive. Join us as we slow down our thoughts, put aside our distractions, and reconnect with the wild.
So it's a bit of a different scene here at Tembe today. We had lots of breeding herds, which is really lovely to see because most of the time I feel like Tembe Elephant Park is like just a pretty much just a bachelor's hangout spot. So nice to see a few different breeding herds. We had some youngsters playing, like they are playing just on the right hand side here. We had a few individuals swimming and mud wallowing in the water. So yeah, nice to see some elephant activity, some impala also hanging around. There seems to always be a nyala here too as well. I think there was some nyala at one of the mud wallows. Have a look at those two probably young elephant bulls just causing mischief and mayhem, playing and fighting with one another. Also so important for their social development. More elephants coming down just on the right. So these moments sitting at watering holes are lovely to play around with your camera and photography and get different kind of close-up photos of elephants that you wouldn't normally be able to get. You're normally in these hides quite low down and you get really nice close-ups of wildlife. Get those eyes. Oop, here's a nyala. Hello, beautiful girl. Nice pretty female nyala. So have a look. Yeah, lots of breeding herds. So it could be lots of different little breeding herds, and of course you always have a few bachelor bulls. Very dainty and elegant female nyala walking across the screen here. Such mineral rich soils that we have in Tembe Elephant Park. You can see these elephants have dug out quite a few mud wallows and puddles, so not only will they be splashing all of this mud on their body, but it seems like they do spend quite a lot of time feeding on the soil, sand, lots of salts and minerals in the soil here. What are you looking at, Lily? She's very curious. Got those big ears. She's listening out for something. Ooh, very dainty and elegant. Maybe there's a lion close by, hoping to catch an unsuspecting impala or nyala. Always have to be cautious out there. So Belinda is happy to get her elephant fix on Live at the Waterhole, and I think it's definitely a great place to get your full elephant fix of the week if you can't be on safari all the time. Yeah, Elephant Pan, or previously known as Hyena Pan, is also one of my favorite places to just watch and just admire the elephants coming down. They often come and swim in that pan too, so you can get some nice elephant pool parties. This female Nyala is very curious of something. Oh, 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 oh. Some friends joining her. We've got some more impala and Nyala off to the left. Could be a young male down there, down by the water, or just a few more female Nyala. It's perfect habitat for them here in Tembe. Nice thick sand forests and very thick vegetation around these watering holes as well. I'm really missing our little kingfisher and our bee eaters. There was also a juvenile fish eagle that used to hang out in this tree here. We watched him catching a few fish, learning how to maneuver up a tree with a fish in your talons. It was quite entertaining. Looks like a sub-adult Nyala. Could be a young male. Yeah, I can see some small little horns about to kind of erupt through the top of his skull there. Still has to change color quite a lot. That deep pitch black color. Oh, nice chilled afternoon. These impala look like they've also had a very busy Tuesday. Decided to take a bit of a Tuesday afternoon nap. Just rest up. So small breeding herd. So it's interesting watching these impala lying down here. So they're actually ruminating. So impala will swallow their food. So they do feed on mostly grass and leaves. They do store it in a specialized stomach of theirs, the rumen, and then they do later regurgitate their food. So perfect for these moments when they've had a busy day feeding. Now they just want to lie down and they'll regurgitate their food and re-chew it. And this is a perfect way to reabsorb as much moisture and nutrients as they can from their food. Nice. See the male impala is showing himself. This is a very important part of an impala's digestive system, as impala do sometimes feed on quite rough and tough plant material, which can be difficult for them to digest. So they'll feed quickly and then they can always go and lay down later and regurgitate their food in safety. Looking to see if there's any nice big male Nyala around, but it seems to be mostly females and a few young sub-adult males. So Nathan, thank you for your comment. Time has flown, and thank you for joining us this afternoon. It has been a really eventful afternoon here live at the Waterhole. Lots of different sightings. Zebra have surely been the flavor of the day. So thank you for joining us, folks. Don't forget to join us same time, same place tomorrow. I will be with you again. Have a lovely afternoon.
Welcome to Safari Spotlight. Come with us as we discover some of South Africa's wildest places, the Lowveld, the Eastern Cape and the Waterberg. We'll try track and hopefully find some wonderful wildlife while basking in the magnificence of these landscapes. Our locations are diverse and unique. If you like what you see on Safari Spotlight, you can visit these wild and special places by visiting wildearth.travel. We'll plan your dream safari.